So in this video, we're going to be reviewing this product right here, which is the Helix Hydrocyclone. And what this thing is going to do is you pump slurry into it and it'll separate the water and the media for quick media changes. This was designed by a guy by the name of Mike, and I believe he bought my plans and he also bought my blast gun. And one thing that you're going to learn about vapor blasting is it sucks to change the media. It's just not your favorite thing to do in the world. Even dry blasting, changing media, it's just messy and it's time consuming. So that's why he designed this. Now, hydrocyclones do exist on the market. However, they're not specific to vapor blasters. They're for other applications and they may not work as efficient per mic. And also they are expensive and they come with the wrong hookup fittings and whatnot. So it kind of sucks, right? And also this is much smaller than what you see out there in the hydrocyclone world. So this is specific to vapor blasters, okay? He optimized it. Now, before we get into this, let's talk about how I change media and how people with hopper-based machines change their media. So first of all, I don't hold anything in this cabinet. It just flows right back down to this pit, which is on a dolly, on casters. So I unhook everything and I roll it outside and I hit the ball valve and drain the water out. Then I rinse down the pump system, lift that out and put it aside. And now you're just dealt with wet media at the bottom of this bucket, okay? Then what I do is I use a drywall mud scoop. So right here, this is specifically designed to scoop stuff out of buckets. That's why it's curved. So what I do is I just scoop 10 scoops or so, and I get that wet media and I plop it into another container, another bucket or whatever. So it's pretty simple. And then you got to do a little bit of rinsing to get the last bit and whatnot. But overall, it takes me 20 minutes to get the old media out and put the new media in, roll it back under, fill it up with water and whatnot. But I don't know, everyone hates doing it, right? Now, if you have a hopper-based system, which means that the pump is in here, in the machine, in the water, and the media, everything's in there, you have a series of ball valves. You have one to drain the water, and then you have one lower to drain the media. But I will tell you that media does not flow out in that scenario. So you have to force it out with like a garden hose. You got to push that media, water and media out. A good analogy would be like if you were a kid at the beach playing with sandcastles and you try to scoop that or move that wet sand right where the water meets the sand. It's just wet, heavy. It just doesn't flow horizontally well. You have to persuade it with water. So those are the two ways, or two different style of machines manually changing it. Now for this guy here, we're going to let the pump do all the work. So what we do, this is kind of similar to the Dust Deputy in a dry application. The Dust Deputy is awesome. I have one. I use it for my shop vac when I'm dealing with dusty situations or when I'm dry blasting. That will catch like 99% of the dust out of the air, which is awesome. So this is the similar concept, but in a wet application. So we are going to be pumping slurry, which is water and media, into here. It's going to go in here and it's going to spin. And centrifugal force and whatnot will separate the water and the media. The water is going to come out of here, which will be pretty clean. And then the slurry will come out of here. It'll be wet still. It's not going to be dry, but it's going to pull majority of the water out. And you just kind of set this up, let the pump run for 15 minutes or whatever, and it should separate the two. So you can walk away and do something else. Now, this thing is designed to mount outside your cabinet. So if you drill a hole, you poke the barb through, and you surface mount it, preferably on the back or the side. That will not work in my application because this thing is shoehorned between this door and the garage door, and it's all the way back. And I can't sacrifice a couple inches of floor space to mount this guy. So what I would like to see is a bracket on top of like maybe a 3-gallon bucket or so it can stay in the machine. and work that way. But anyway, let me hook this up and we'll get it running. Okay, so I'm kind of set up. So I disconnected the gun. This is the slurry in. This is a clear hose that leads back to the hopper. Water will be coming out of here, and out of here, just some media. So anyway, I'm gonna get this thing going. It's gonna take a second to, start spinning and whatever. So let's give this a try here. So in here you can see that it's very thick, so it's taken out all the water. I wish I had a stand for this right now, but so there's very little water in here. We'll see. We'll let it settle out and see what happens. But yeah, there's like a spinning vortex in here in this tube. All right, so let's just, I'm gonna get a 5-gallon bucket going in here. Maybe I'll find a clamp or something to hold it. Barely any water. Let's let that sit for a second. I'll set up a 5-gallon bucket and we'll come back and see how we're doing. I'm just gonna try to set that there like that. All right, so that's working. I'll note the time and we'll see how long it takes. All right, we're approaching the 5-minute mark. And I don't know if you can see the dark line on that bucket, but it's up to the, well, yeah, you can see it. No, can you see it? Yeah, see that writing right there? So it's about there. So it's about a third full, this bucket right now. And what's cool is I just closed the door and I just have it sitting there. It'd probably be better if that thing was more vertical, but anyway, I just got it sitting in that bucket. And I walked away. I went inside, did some things, and if a hose was to blow off right now, it's sealed in the cabinet, so it's no issues. So you just walk away from it. So yeah, I'll walk away from it again. I got some cleanup work to do here around the garage, and we'll check back in another 5. There you go, that's my automatic foot switch right there, some vice grips on the pedal. So the bucket's getting pretty full. I don't want the bottom of the hydrocyclone to be in the media, so I'm trying to prop it up. I don't feel like sitting here and holding it, but let me get this. So it's actually slowing down. Not much is coming out the bottom, so that's telling me that, there's not much left in the water. But we'll just give it another, some more time. It's been 10 minutes so far, and we are up to about here, and then I got that bucket back there. So I got 50 pounds in this machine right now. And normally I don't run that much, actually like 53 pounds. Normally I don't run that much, but remember when I was doing the power washer powered vapor blaster? Well, I was trying to get my media concentration up, thinking it would work better. I was trying to get that process to work, but that's why there's so much media in here. So anyway, we'll give this a little more time. All right, it's been 15 minutes, maybe like 16 minutes. And there's just a little trickle coming out the bottom there, and the level in the bucket hasn't really increased significantly. So basically when you first start this thing up, it's going to be filling really fast with media because the density of the media is high, and as it gets closer to empty, it starts slowing down. And this water that's coming out of here, you can tell it's more clear. So I think that's it. I think we're done. I think I'm going to shut it off and, you know, I'll let that settle for a second. And I'll pull it out of the machine and we'll see how it looks. All right, so over here, got about ½ inch of media on top, or I'm sorry, ½ inch of water on top of the media. Here, you can see we got a lot more, so I probably let it run a little too long, but that's probably 2 inches of water on top here, and you can just dump this off. Actually, when you store media, do not store it without water on top. If you let this media kind of dry up, it'll clump up and it becomes like rock hard. So if you're gonna put, if you're gonna store this media, put 3 inches of water on it and make sure you put a lid on it that has a rubber seal so it doesn't dry out. And if you want, you can put a splash of bleach in there to prevent funky growth or whatever, but basically that's what I would do. But yeah, very little water. So right now, I would not recommend storing media like that with just a little bit of water on top. Get a bunch of water on top there. So see what I'm saying? Let's say you had a hopper-based machine and you go to open the bottomless ball valve. You open it, this stuff does not flow. Look at that. You have to push that out with more water. Okay, you need to get a garden hose out. So, I mean, I even have this upside down. It's not moving. So, as soon as you introduce a little bit of water, it flows out. Not even so. I mean, so it's a pain in the ass. So it didn't pull all the media out. There's still a little bit left. I would say 1 inch or so on the bottom. So I will have to drain this off and scoop it anyway, but certainly less media for sure. All right, so this thing's pretty cool. What I would like to see is he has 5/8. That looks like 3/4. That's 5/8. I guess I can swap that. Is this 3/4? Yeah, so this is 3/4, and this looks like it's 5/8 or something. Anyway, my slurry line is 3/4, so I would like to see a 3/4 barb here, but it's ½ inch NPT. I swapped the fittings really quick. So I'd like to see 3/4 here. Here it doesn't matter. I don't know if an elbow would make sense here, if it would mess up the flow or not, but an elbow would be better for the tubing. Also, he supplied clear tubing, which is fine. I get why you do that. But I would like to use something more flexible, like the Flexzilla hose, because it's kind of a pain to maneuver it in the cabinet. Once this thing starts to trickle out a little bit of media, you know you're done. You don't have to look at the clear hose. My water was pretty dirty, so it really wasn't a good indicator that it was full. So when it starts to trickle out of here, you know you're done pulling media out of here. Also, something I'd like to see is, I know he has this mounted on the back of the machine, which, if that works for you or if that's something you want, fine, but I would rather have it mounted above the bucket like this somehow. It fits in my machine, and if for those that don't have a big enough cabinet, they make like 3-gallon versions of this bucket, so get 2 3-gallon versus a big 5-gallon, and just have a bracket or something to where you mount this like this, and that'll be perfect, because I don't want this outside of my machine. And what's nice is you can close the door, let it run, and you won't worry about a hose popping off or whatever and making a freaking mess everywhere. So you can leave it unattended inside the machine where it's, whatever. So that's something I'd like to see. Other than that, it's awesome, man. I mean, now I don't have to scoop media out or whatever, so this is definitely a cool product. I'm going to leave some links in the video description. He's got a couple of YouTube videos, and also he's got a online store where you can purchase this. So I'll drop some links in the video description. And Mike, thanks for supplying these for me to test out.